Good morning guys, welcome back. Today I would like to give you 5 tips and tricks on how to get your dog relaxed and comfortable in a tent. I am being asked very often how I got Ravi so relaxed in the tent, and he's getting really good night sleeps, and therefore I would like to help you out on this one, because sleeping in a tent can be very exciting for a dog. So it's always worthwhile to give it a little bit of training before you go out. So therefore I would like to start with tip number 1. And that is practice before you go camping or backpacking. Everybody has a place where they can practice their camping. It might be your own backyard, it might be the backyard from friends, family or something. And I can highly recommend to always go there first. Try out to see what your dog is doing, how he reacts to the tent. Just put it up, leave it there. Don't force your dog to do anything. Just put up the tent, leave it there, and make sure that the tent gets a familiar thing for your dog. So let him sniff around in it, let it go in it, treat him when he's in there. So practice that up, and when that goes right, spend the night in the tent and just practice a little bit. Don't go anywhere, same place, your backyard, anyone else's backyard, and just try and do a test night, so to say, to see how your dog relaxes. If he doesn't, look what he is responding to, where does he react to, and try to train on that one. Tip number 2, make it a happy place. As soon as you introduce the tent to your dog, make sure that putting up the tent, make sure that means party time. So when your dog goes in the tent for the first time, treat him, give him real jackpots, give whatever he really likes as a treat, and make sure that the tent is a happy place. So not use it to anything to punish your dog. Always make it happy to be there. Make it a great place, make it fun, just the two of you. Maybe if you have 2 or more dogs, all of you. But make it fun, make it a great place to be, so that your dog gets excited when the moment he sees that the tent is coming out. Tip number 3 is do not force your dog. So when your dog is a little bit hesitant to go in the tent at the first time, do not pull him or her in by a leash or anything, lock it up by closing up the inner tent. No, just let your dog explore the tent by itself. Puppy! And so do not force him or her to go in there. Stay in there. If you are testing the tent out and doing your first tryout night and your dog wants to go out, leave it out of the tent. Let it go out and try it again a few minutes later. So never force your dog to go in or stay in the tent. That brings me to tip number 4. And that is, make sure that your dog feels at home when he's in the tent. So Ravi always has his own place to sleep in. It's a sleeping bag, or since a few times he has his quilt that I introduced earlier on this channel. And make always sure that your dog feels at home. And if your dog, for example, has a favorite toy, Ravi doesn't care a lot about toys, so I'm not bringing that. But if your dog has a favorite toy, like a little bear or something, bring it. So make sure that it feels like home, and that your dog has stuff in the tent that is familiar to him or her, and that he knows well and feels comfortable around. So therefore it feels a little bit like you're at home, but then you're home on the go. You're home away from home. And the last tip, number 5, is to give your dog control over the situation. So if your dog is a little bit excited or maybe even scared in the tent, reacting on the noises that he hears outside or around your tent, don't close the tent. Let the outer tent open so that you can dog see what's happening around the tent. So give him control over the situation. And if your dog wants to go out, let him go out. So I said it before, let him explore everything around your tent. And in that way you give your dog the control, that your dog can see what's happening around the tent, and that it is not a creepy place or someplace scary to be, that everything is fine. And if he gets control over the situation, they will not bark as much. Ravi, for example, the first time we went camping a couple of years ago, he barked all night. He was reacting to everything, and now he isn't, and he's sometimes just reacting a little bit with some noises or anything, but nothing special. So they get used to that as long as you give them control over the situation. So these were my 5 tips and tricks to help you get your dog comfortable and relaxed in a tent. If you work slowly and give your dog time to get used to the tent, then it will be a great way to spend your time together in the outdoors, and I will assure you, you will have a lot of fun together. Of course, there are always dogs who will stay scared in the tent, and if you got one of those dogs, don't force him or her. Give it time, and if time tells that this is not the place for your dog to stay, accept that and do not force it. Do not make it a place where you punish your dog. If your dog doesn't like it, accept that. But if you work on it slowly and use the 5 tips that I gave you, I think 99 out of 100% of the dogs will be absolutely fine. Won't you, Ravi? Ravi sees all the neighbors getting up, and all the neighbors are looking at us, of course, because I'm talking to the camera. But that doesn't matter. That's the life, how a YouTuber is. Sometimes you have to film on campsites. People are looking at you, but like your dog will get used to the tent, you will get used to that. So thank you for being part of this video, taking your time to watch it. I hope these tips were helpful to you and that you can use them in your training so you and your dog can have a great time in the tent as well. As always, enjoy the outdoors. We will catch you on the next trail. Goodbye. Say goodbye, Ravi. Goodbye, guys.